Hello everyone, let's design a wrench in Autodesk Inventor, and the wrench will need to fit in the hand of this dummy 13 model. Some of the shapes we're going to be using are the circle and the rectangle. Here are the dimensions I'm going to show you in Autodesk Inventor. I'll probably be referring back to those. We'll also do a cut here for the end of this very simple wrench. So let me escape out of there and let's get the part started. You can see here I've already made one, but let's start from scratch. So the way you do that is you go up here to the new button right there, or you can say File New. And you want to select US English metric and click on this one that says standard millimeters. It's going to be a part file. Next thing we need to do is start a sketch. So we're going to hit the sketch button up here and then hit 2D sketch. It shows you three planes on which you can draw. So you select this one right here. Then we need to make that very fundamental shape that we just talked about here. That's going to be the end of the wrench. You can see it has a curved area to it right here to fit into the hand of this humanoid. All right. So it needs to be 4 inches in diameter here, 6 for that side of the rectangle, and 3 here. So let's get that part started. Let's start with the circle. And let's make that one 3. And so you go up here to dimensions, click this one, and you go out like that, and then just type in 3. And that's the first set we have here. Actually, it's 4. So when you make a mistake like that, you just come back over here, double click on this, and then type in 4. Now to zoom in, you use your scroll wheel like this, and then to pan, you push the scroll wheel down and pull over. All right, the next thing we wanted to do is to create a rectangle. And so let's do, I think we want the center point rectangle. So it's going to be this third one down here, 2-point center. And you select here and you drag out and make it look kind of correct. And then you put your dimensions in there. We said it was going to be 3 over here. And so what I'm doing is I'm clicking on the line, I'm pulling up, clicking again, and then I'm typing in the dimension. All right, so that's our sketch. What we can do now is extrude that into the third dimension to make a 3D object. So we're going to click on Extrude under the 3D Model tool. We want to select the shape that we want to extrude, and it's going to be that shape right there so that it fits in the hand of the dummy 13 model. We also want it to be 30 millimeters in length. So let's get back over there to this one. So instead of 10, we're going to go up here and type in 30. You can see now it's much further out there. We're extruding it. Just click OK. And then what you can also do is come here, click the home button like that to see the whole thing. The next thing we want to do is make a circle out here to represent the end of this very simple wrench. And then what we're going to do is go over here and make the hexagon. So we'll need an 8 millimeter circle right here. And we're going to make it have a midpoint at the end of the handle. So in order to do that, you go over here, and you right click on this top surface and you say New Sketch. Then it kind of zeroes in on one end of it, and you can begin by making a sketch on the top of that surface. Now you notice I clicked right in the center of that one. Then I'm pulling it out, clicking again, going up to my dimension tool, then typing in 8, and you got it. So if I'm going too fast on this, of course, you can slow down the video or just replay it again. Of course, the next thing we want to do is extrude this. So let's click on the extrude and we want to turn that sketch. And you can see it's going the wrong direction. So what we want to do is click the different arrow over here. I'm going to flip the direction. And also we want it to be 3 millimeters, not 30. And we don't want it to be a cut. You can see that kind of has that red color to it. We want it to be an extrude. So we're basically kind of making it to look like a paddle almost. All right, the next thing we want to do is put that hexagon on there. So that was going to be down here. It's going to be 3 millimeters flat to flat. So let's get that part started. Right click on this surface, say New Sketch, and use your scroll wheel to zoom in. Then you click on your hexagon like this. And let's see, I think we want the flat area to be along the horizontal. So I'm going to pull the pointed side over to the right. Now we said the flat to flat distance needed to be only 3 millimeters. You can see I got more than that. So I typed in 3 and hit enter. And then the next thing you want to do is to make a cut so that it goes all the way out. So you see this other rectangle down here is basically going to represent the opening of the wrench. Okay, here we go. So let's go over here. Let's get a rectangle that's going to work for us. I think the best one is going to be a 3-point rectangle. That means you click on, let's see, 2 of the flat surfaces, probably like this one and that one, and then pull it out here. And it doesn't have to be any particular length. It can just be an arbitrary length. Now, it looks like I didn't quite get that right on the corner, so that's not going to be good. So anytime you make a mistake, you can just hit Control Z and then go and do it again. So we want to make sure we click there. You notice it kind of lighted up in green, lit up in green. And here we're going to go over to extrude again, but this time we need to cut. I'm going to use my scroll wheel to zoom in to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the cut tool right there. I want to cut using this one, and that one. So basically I'm cutting that shape out so it looks kind of like that simple wrench that we have in our image. Use the home button to bring the wrench back over here. And you see it doesn't quite look exactly like that wrench because we're missing some flat features here at the end. Um, so let's add what's called a chamfer to the edge of that, and we will be done with this part. So we'll go up here to chamfer, click on this edge and that edge, and we only want this to be zero point 0.5 millimeters. You see, it gives it a nice, um, I guess, well, chamfer for it so that it is not quite so sharp on the edge. Okay, and then we can do the same thing for the other side. To move the part around, you want to hold down the Shift key and then press the middle mouse button, and then that will allow you to orbit to the other side. So now we're going to go up to chamfer and do that again here and there. There we go. And again, I'm holding down the Shift key, pushing down on my mouse wheel to orbit around. Click and drag, click and drag. Now, I think they also have this end right here also has a chamfer on it so that it's easier to go into the hand of the humanoid. You can see right here, I don't know if you can tell on that one, but in order to go in there, it's good to have a chamfer on there to make it easier to go in. So here's a chamfer. You can see that it's basically just a 90-degree, I'm sorry, 45-degree angle. Looks like it's going to stick with the 1/2. I wonder if we can just do all 4 sides and make it look almost like the end of a hammer. Speaking of which, I guess we could also make a hammer using this same model. I could do this one more time. I'll do it a little bit faster. Or you can go back to the beginning and go through the process. So let's see if I could, how fast we can do this. Now, we also want to save our work. So let's go File, Save As. And let's put it in Documents. That'll be a good spot for it. And let's call it Dummy Wrench. And let's put our initials in there. Mine are WDB. And hit Save. And we can 3D print that one for our dummy. Now, of course, there's models like this already made, but we're getting the experience with making our own custom models. Now, let's see how we go through this maybe a little bit faster. Remember, we went up here, we said File New, Millimeters, and we said Sketch. We selected the XY plane. We made a circle. And here you can actually type in 4 and without having to make that dimension. Then you can use the scroll wheel to zoom in. We want that center rectangle, 2-point center rectangle. One dimension is going to be 3, and the other one's going to be 6. So right here, we want that to be 3. And then click and drag up here. We want this to be 6. Remember, the next thing we did was we did an extrude on the 3D model tab. We only wanted that shape to go out 30 millimeters. I guess we could get ahead of ourselves and go ahead and put that chamfer on there if you want to, on this end right there. You see, that's too big. So we want it to be only 0.5. So already we have a piece that we could use for a hammer instead of a wrench. The other thing we did was we right-clicked on the top surface, new sketch. We'll put a big circle out here, 8 millimeters. So click here. You can even type in the number 8. Then you want to extrude that down 3 millimeters. So if I type in 3 over here, I'll just get rid of that 0. You can see that it's going the wrong direction, so we change the direction like so. Now it automatically went to cut because it thought we were going to cut this out, but we really want to extrude. Now we have our paddle shape. We can right click on this top surface again and draw our hexagon and our uh, slanted rectangle. So we want a hexagon down here, 6-sided. We're going to lock into the center, and we want the flat side to be across here. So we'll make the point go up. I believe we said that that was only 3 millimeters from flat to flat. Then we also, speaking of flat to flat, wanted to go in here with a 3-point rectangle. We went right here. And what I'm going to do is zoom in. So make sure I click on that right there, lock it in, pull it out here an arbitrary distance. It doesn't really matter how far. And then we just cut it. Remember, go to 3D model, extrude, and we want to tell it we want to cut. So there's the cut option. This is the extrude option. And then you can scroll in right here for the zoom. And you say, I want this, this, and this to be cut. Click OK. And then our final touches is going to be the chamfer. There, there, there. Then hold down the shift key, orbit around. And then you can hold down the mouse wheel without the shift key, and you can pan. So there's pan and there's orbit. So middle mouse wheel with shift. Then you go over here to home, and we have our part. And this is the one we want to save after we click OK. All right, so that'll be the first object we're going to make, and then we'll make some other accessories to go along with this crash test dummy, which is also referred to as Dummy 13. All right, I'll see you in the next video.